Hi, welcome to week 2 of Pilates with Vicky. I hope you're all well. We're just going to go through some more Pilates exercises for you, so you've got a bit of variation to your Pilates repertoire at home. So we're just going to come up into a nice tall standing position, and then if you bring your toes apart, heels apart, so you're just in that nice hip width position with the feet. And then coming up nice and tall through the body, and just gently take weight forward through the forefoot, and then come back through the heels. Good. Forward through the forefoot and back through the heels. So you're just gently finding that equal pressure between the toes and the heels. Good. And come to that midpoint, and then just gently kind of sway from side to side, and just finding that equal pressure between both feet. So come back into that midpoint. So you get equal pressure through left and right feet, equal pressure through heels and toes. So from there, we're going to lengthen up through the legs, keep the knees soft, and then just think about that pelvis nice and neutral in that position. And then we're just going to arch and hollow through the lower back. So imagine that pelvis is a glass bowl, and then rocking forwards and backwards through the marble at the bottom of the bowl there, and then coming up nice and tall. Good. So imagine that lengthening down through the back, pulling up through the front. We're going to lengthen up through the spine and lengthen through the back of the neck. Make sure you just keep that chin tucked down gently, and then from there we're just going to circle through the shoulders. Good. Just loosening off through the shoulders, and then go the other way. So circling through. Good. And then we're going to take those shoulders up towards your ears, glide them back together, and then relax the shoulders down your back. So open up through the collarbone, shoulder blades down, back of the neck nice and long. Make sure those knees are still soft. And then from here, core switched on. So pulling up through the pelvic floor, in through the belly button. And then from there, we're just going to come into a little squat. So we're going to sit back, and so you're going to be sitting on a chair behind you, and then coming up nice and tall. Breathing out, sit back. Breathing in, coming back up. Good. So imagine you've got a chair behind you, so that as you sit back, you're coming back behind you. It's easy to do this and lean forward, but actually just come right back, trying to keep those knees over your toes. Good. And if you're happy to, then we'll go squat down, come up tall, and then just come up onto your toes. Coming back down, squat, come up tall, onto your toes, and think lengthen through the crown of your head rather than pushing yourself forward. So think lengthen and tall, core engaged. Breathing out, in, out, in. Good. Let's do 2 more. So if you did week 1 of my Pilates classes, you'll notice my change of scenery. So last one I did in the village hall. Good. Relax up and loosen off the legs. We're not allowed out now, so I kind of redesigned my physio room so that we can work here instead. So from there, we're just going to come in, feet really nice and close together. Come up nice and tall through the legs, pelvis nice and neutral, shoulder blades down and back of the neck nice and long. We're going to engage through the core muscles. We're going to stand on our left leg, keep the knee soft, and then the right heel is going to peel up. We're going to lift that right knee up in front. So from there, we're going to then lower the leg next, so ankles are together, keep the right knee slightly soft, and then glide it out to the side, in and up. Good. So think nice and tall through that standing leg, through the spine, and coming up, down, and think heel out, toes forward. So as you come up, down, heel out, toes forward, you should feel it working through your bottom. And if you need to, you can have a chair next to you just to hold on for balance. And the other thing we're making sure is that that pelvis stays nice and still. So make sure you're not lifting up through the hip as you work through that leg, and you'll feel that that standing leg's going to start getting a bit tired. So keep the knees soft, keep up nice and tall. Good. So last one. Good, well done. And then have a little loosen off through the legs. And then we're going to stand on that right leg. So up nice and tall, pelvis nice and neutral, core switched on, back of the neck nice and long. Stand on your right leg, keep the knee soft. We're going to float that left knee up and come down, heel out, in and up. Good. So we're just going to keep the pelvis really nice and still and lead out with the heel, toes stay forward. Hold on to a chair if you need to, or the wall, or whatever you've got near you. Leading out with the heel, keep the toes pointing forward. You feel it through that bottom cheek as you push out to the side, and maybe that standing leg starting to get a little bit tired. Have a break if you need to. Keep the core switched on, shoulders down. Good, well done. Nice soft knee on that right side, don't lock that knee out. Good. Last couple. Good, well done. And relax off. Good, well done. Okay, so from there, I'm going to just get you to come into a little lunge. So you're going to stand at the back of your mat, if you've got your mat out. Drop those shoulders down, pelvis nice and neutral. And we're going to step forward, do a little dip down, push up, and come back to that standing position. Opposite leg, coming down, up. And I don't mind, so see how your knees are. You can just step forward, do a small bend, coming up and back. And it doesn't have to be a big dip. So see how you feel and work at a level that you're happy with. Coming up, good. Push up, keep that pelvis nice and neutral, core switched on, shoulders back, and pushing back through the back. Try and come back into that lunge position. I don't mind if you're in this position. Work where you're comfortable. Good. Keep breathing. Keep that pelvis nice and neutral. Make sure you've not arched through that lower back. You guys have never seen me work so hard, have you? Normally I'm coming up and checking on you all. Have to do it all. It's good for me. So do one more on either side. Good, well done. And have a little relax off. Good. Okay, so from here, just want you to come up nice and tall. I'm just going to get you to practice your balance. So if you need to hold on to something, have a chair near you or hold on to the wall, that's absolutely fine. I'm going to get you to bring your feet nice and close together, pelvis nice and neutral, shoulders down the back, lengthen through the back of the neck, core switched on. And I'm just going to get you to keep the left knee soft, peel that right heel up off of the floor. So you're just lifting up. And you can just have your toes on the floor if you want to. And just see if you can balance nice and tall in that position. And if you feel like you're able to, just lift the toes up and just balancing on that left leg. So knee soft, pelvis up nice and tall. And trying to balance through that standing leg. Good. Keep lengthen through the back of your neck. Pull up through the core muscles. In through the belly button, nice and tall through the spine. Good. Keep the left knee soft. See if you can just hold it for a little bit longer. Good. And then gently see if you can control back down. Good, well done. Have a little loosen off. Okay, and same on the other side. So feet together, up nice and tall, pelvis nice and neutral, shoulders down and back. Engage through the core to help stabilize you, and keep the right knee soft. Peel the left heel up, and then from there, if you can either keep the toes on the floor, gently hold on, but I want you to challenge your balance. So if you're wobbling a little bit, that's good. We want you to be working and wobbling a little bit, because that will help you to be able to correct it. Good. Working through that control. Up nice and tall, pelvis nice and neutral, core switched on. Good. Keep breathing. Just imagine the crown of your head being lengthened through the crown of the head, back of the spine. Good. Pulling up through the tummy, lengthening down through the tailbone. Keep the right knee nice and soft. Good. Just going to hold it for a couple more breaths. Good, well done. And then relax down. Good. Okay, have a little loosen off through the legs. And then from there, we're just going to bring the feet hip width apart again and just do an arm openings, just to try and loosen off through the arms. So drop those shoulder blades down and back. Engage through the core. Soft knees. And then from there, we're just going to bring both hands up to shoulder height. Breath in as you breathe out. Just come up and out to the side. Breathing in as you come back down again. They're not a big movement, but just starting to open up through the chest a little bit. Good. So breathe in as you bring your arms wide on this one, and out as you come back. Good. Just think about opening up through the front of the chest. Keep the pelvis nice and neutral. Good. Shoulder blades down, so make sure you don't come up with those shoulders. I can see some of you doing it already. I can't actually, but I can imagine that some of you are doing it already. Good. Let's do two more. Good, well done. And relax down. Okay, and then we're going to come into our roll down. So bring your feet hip width apart. Soft knees up tall through the legs. Pelvis nice and neutral. Shoulders down and back. Back of the neck nice and long. You're going to take a breath in as you breathe out. Engage through the pelvic floor, pulling up through the pelvic floor, in through the belly button. And from there, we're going to drop chin to chest to start with. So just really working through each vertebrae one at a time. Rolling down through the spine. Keep that pelvis up tall for as long as possible. Opening up through the lower spine. And then when you can't go any further without tipping the pelvis, tip forward through the pelvis. Good. And then as we stack up, tailbone first. So stacking up through coccyx, sacrum, and then stacking up through the lower spine, up nice and tall. Good. Let's go again, chin to chest. Keep breathing. Bring that pelvis down as long as you can. Good. Stacking up, tailbone first. Keep going, really concentrating on each vertebrae one at a time. Okay, last one. Chin to chest, really mindful of the spine. Core switched on. Good, well done. Right, okay, so let's come down onto the mat. And as you come down onto the mat, just make sure that your feet are in line with your knees and your hips. And as you come down onto your back, just making sure that your shoulders, hips, knees and feet are in a line. And then we're going to make sure the back of the neck is nice and long. Shoulders drawn down away from your ears so that you're nice and long through the neck and relax through the shoulders. And then just lift your hips up and lower them back down. So just aligning the spine onto the mat. Good. And then so from here, we're going to come into 100. So I'm going to get you to take a breath in as you breathe out, gently pulling up through the pelvic floor, down through the belly button. We're going to keep that back in the same position on the mat. So make sure you're not lifting up from the mat. So breath in, as you breathe out, we're going to float one leg to tabletop. Breath in, as you breathe out, bring the other leg to join it. From there, we're going to take a breath in. As you breathe out, gently float both arms just an inch or so off the mat, gently pulsing them next to your hips. Keep the collarbones wide. Good. Core switched on. And then if you're happy to, and if you can keep that same position of your back down onto the mat, we're going to take a breath in. And as we breathe out, we're going to lengthen one leg away from us. So it's slightly easier if you point it up towards the ceiling or keep the knees slightly soft. And it's harder the lower you go towards the floor. But you're keeping that back down on the mat all the time. Hold it for one more breath. And then as you breathe out, float that leg back in. Breath in, pause, breathe out, lengthen the other leg away. Find a position where you're challenging yourself. So either slightly up towards the ceiling or lower or down, but keeping that back down onto the mat. Let's hold it for one more breath. Keep the shoulders relaxed, collarbones wide. As you breathe out, float in. Good. Breath out, lengthen the other leg away. One more breath in. As you breathe out, float that leg back in. And last one, breathing out as you lengthen the other leg away. Keep the shoulders relaxed, back nice and flat. One more breath. And as you breathe out, come back in. And have a little hug of those knees in towards your chest. Good, well done. And then pop your hands onto your knees, do a big circle of those knees over your chest. Good. And then back in the other direction. Just massaging that lower back onto your mat. Good. And then we're going to lower one leg down onto the floor, bring the other one down to join it. And then just make sure, again, feet in line with knees, hips and shoulders. Neck nice and long, drop those shoulder blades down. And then we're going to come down into that nice neutral position onto the mat. Good, so from here, we're going to come into hip twist, but level 2. So breath in as you breathe out, engage through the core muscles, pulling up through the pelvic floor, down through the belly button. Breath in as you breathe out, we're going to float one leg to tabletop. Breath in as you breathe out, float the other leg to join it. So we're going to imagine that the shins are the front and back cover of a book. So keeping everything as still as you can through the back onto the mat. We're going to take a breath in. As you breathe out, you're going to open the front cover of the book. Breathe in, close that cover. Breathe out, open the back cover of the book. Breathe in, come back through to the center. So breathing out as you open up, in as you close. And keeping that foot in line with the knee. So make sure you're not twisting the knee out and keeping the foot in the center. Good, keep that back down. If your arms are down by your side and you want to make it harder, then you can bring your arms across your chest, onto your waist. Breathing out and in as you come back to the center. Good. Breathing out, in as you come back. Keep those core muscles switched on, keep your shoulders relaxed. Good. Let's do 2 more on either side. Keep breathing. The last one. Good. And then we're going to take a breath in as you breathe out, lower one leg down. Breath in as you breathe out, lower the other leg down. Just have a lengthen through, arms and legs, big stretch through. Good. As you breathe in, reach those fingertips and toes away from one another. And as you breathe out, relax the arms and legs, flatten the back down. Reaching through. Flattening down. Good. And last one, big breath in. And relax out. Good, well done. Bring your arms back down by your side. You're going to bend one leg up, bend the other one up to join it. So we're going to come back into that starting position, feet in line with knees, hips and shoulders. Glide those shoulder blades down away from your ears, neck nice and long, and just come into that nice neutral position. Look at me, I haven't even mentioned the marshmallow and the 2p coin today. Hopefully you're all imagining them, but they're there anyway. I can't believe I've forgotten to do that. Imagine that marshmallow underneath your belly button, squash down at least halfway onto it. Make sure your breastbone's down in contact with that 2p coin, or spine in contact with that 2p coin. Okay, so from here, it's really important to keep that pressure down onto the mat today for this next exercise, always, obviously. And then we're going to take a breath in. As you breathe out, engage through the core muscles, putting up through the pelvic floor, down through the belly button. Breath in. As you breathe out, float one leg to tabletop. Breath in. As you breathe out, float the other leg to join it. So we can either work from here in scissors. So again, and you can either have your arms by your side or you can bring them across your chest to make it slightly harder. Breath in. As you breathe out, tap one foot down. Breathe in, come back up. Breathe out, tap the other leg down. In, come back up. So you can either stay here and work at this level, or if you would like to make it harder, we can lengthen through the legs. Just as far as you feel able to go. So if you need a little knee bend, you can have a little knee bend. If you can lengthen through a bit more, lengthen through. Keeping that marshmallow, that 2p coin down. We're going to lower one leg down and come back up. If you feel like you're arching, stop, control it, come back up. Breathing out as you lower, in as you come back up. So work at a level that you feel you can control. It's hard work, this one. So if you need to bend the knees a little bit and work with the knees slightly more bent, slightly easier, the more straight they are, harder it is. I can feel my tummy muscles shaking doing this. Breathing out, lower down, in, coming back up. Good. Breathing out as you lower, in as you come back up. Good. Keep that back down in contact with the mat. Squash that marshmallow, squash that 2p coin. Can we do one more on either side? Breathing out and up. Good, last one. Good, well done. Bend the knees in, hug them in towards your chest. Good, well done. That's hard work, that one. Just gently roll those knees in a big circle over your chest. Good. And back in the other direction. Good, have a little hug of those knees in towards your chest. We're going to lower one foot down, bring the other one back to join it. And then from here, just bring your feet nice and close to your bottom, so as close as you feel comfortable going. And we're going to come into shoulder bridge. So neck nice and long, shoulders down, pelvis nice and neutral. We're going to engage through those core muscles. And then we're going to take a breath in. As you breathe out, we're going to gently squash that marshmallow. Lift, you feel the coccyx start to lift up. I'm going to peel one vertebrae at a time up off of the mat. Try and keep those knees in line with your hips. Not arching through the lower back, so keep a little bit of tension through the tummy. Make sure you're not arching through the lower back. And then we're going to lower the breastbone down first. One vertebra at a time, controlling through the spine, really mindfully. Good. Keep the core switched on, keep breathing. Keep going in your own time, healing that spine up. Good. And lowering back down. Good. So if you feel you've got good movement through the spine, bring your arms across your chest and try and keep that control, but without your arms being on the floor. And really squeeze through the bottom, shorten through the tummy muscles, lower down one vertebra at a time. Good. Keep breathing. Feel the glutes working, tummy muscles shortening as you come back down. Oh, excuse me, my tummy's rumbling. Hope you didn't hear that. Good. Let's do one more. Peeling up. And then lowering back down. Good, well done. And so then from there, we're going to just work on those glute dips. So we're going to, if you haven't already got your arms across your chest, pop them across your chest. We're going to peel that spine back up. So that spine's nice and long and you're working through your bottom muscles. And then from there, we're going to tap your bottom just to touch the mat and then squeeze and lift those hips up towards the ceiling. So breathe in, tap down, breathe out, squeeze and lift. In as you tap, out as you lift. Keep the knees together. Imagine you've got one of my Pilates balls in between your knees. So you're going to tap down, squeeze and lift. Don't work through your lower back. So keep that little bit of shortening through the tummy muscles and really squeezing through the bottom. Just tap down, squeeze and lift. Good. Let's do two more. And then we're going to lift those hips up and we're going to then twist. So imagine you keeping that ball in between your knees. We're going to twist through the waist, tap one bottom cheek down, squeeze and lift up level, twist the other side, tap your bottom cheek down, squeeze and lift up level. So you're twisting through the waist, keep working through those bottom muscles. Make sure your lower back isn't working too much, so don't lift too high and don't arch through that lower back. Breathing in as you lower, out as you squeeze and lift up level. Good. Good, you should really feel those bottom muscles working now. Good. Okay, we're going to do one more on either side. And then we're going to lift those hips up. See if you can hold them there for 5, 4, 3. Squeeze through the bottom. 2, 1. Well done. Good work. Okay, have a big lengthen out through arms, through legs. Good. Okay, and then from there, we're going to bring your left knee in towards your chest. And just hug that knee in towards your chest. And if you're comfortable to, bring that knee across towards your right shoulder. So left knee towards right shoulder, stretching out through the outside of that bottom cheek. Good. And then bring that knee back to the center. Lower that left leg down. Bring the right knee up, lengthen through the left leg, hug the right knee in towards your chest. Good. And then from that position, we're going to gently just bring your right knee across towards your left shoulder. So you're feeling a stretch to the outside of the right bottom cheek, sorry. Good, well done. I'm going to hold it there, keep breathing. Good, well done. And then gently bring that right knee back through to the centre, lower that foot to the floor, have a little lengthen out. Good, well done. And then we shall turn over onto our side. Good, right, so we're going to come down onto our side on the mat. So just make sure, when you come onto your side, we're going to actually on this one, bring your feet forward. So you've got 90-degree bend at your knees and your hips and coming onto your side. So rather than back into our clown position, we're going to come forward. So we're going to still work through the glutes, but we're just going to make sure that we've got 90-degree bend at our knees and our hips there. So from this position, we're just going to make sure that if someone's looking directly down from above, they're just going to see our spine profile. You're going to have a little gap between your waist and mat so that spine, so rather than sinking down into the mat, you're nice and long through the spine, little gap, and then pelvis nice and neutral. So make sure you're not arching. Have a little feel of your back if you need to. Make sure you're not curling through and kind of all scrunched up. And the spine is nice and long. And then from there, we're going to gently take a breath in as you breathe out, engage through those pelvic floor muscles. Pull the belly button in towards your spine. And you keep everything from your pelvis up nice and still. So maybe pop your hand onto your hip if you want to, just to make sure you're staying nice and still there. And then from there, we're going to take a breath in. And as you breathe out, you're just going to lift that top knee up as far as you can go without tipping through the pelvis. So lifting up, but making sure you're not rocking backwards. So breathing out as you lift up, in as you come back down. Good. That sunshine shining through onto my wall, it's lovely, isn't it? You're all managing to do a little bit of stuff in the garden to keep your spirits up with a bit of springtime while we're all locked indoors. Breathing out as you lift, in as you lower. Good. You should be starting to feel it working through the outside of that bottom cheek. Good. Let's do 3 more. 2. Good. And 1. Okay, have a little relax off if you want. Just lengthen through that leg, a little rub through that bottom muscle. Hard work through those, and we've just done the shoulder bridges as well and the glute dip, so we're all working through these glutes lots, but they're really important, which is why we do lots of work on them, as much as your core. Pelvis nice and neutral, core switched on, so pulling up through the pelvic floor, in through the belly button, and then from there, keeping the pelvis up really nice and still, we're going to float that leg up, take a breath in as you breathe out, knee to knee, breathe in, foot to foot. Breathe out, breathe in. Trying to keep everything from your pelvis up really nice and still. Good. Breathing in, breathing out. And this you should feel maybe just still a little bit on the outside of the hip, but kind of deep inside that bottom cheek. Good. Keep those core muscles switched on. And really start to burn. Good. Okay, last 2. And 1. Good, well done. And relax down. Have a lengthen through that top leg. Lift up and over. Big lengthen through that upper side. Maybe lift your waist away from the mat so you're really lengthening through. Good. And then come back up. Good, all done. We're going to swap sides and work through the other hip. So feet in line with the front edge of your mat, and then knees at 90 degrees, hips at 90 degrees. Make sure that the pelvis is nice and neutral, so you're not arching or hollowing too much through that lower back. A little gap in between your waist and the mat. Nice and neutral through there. Breath in as you breathe out, engage through those core muscles. Good. And then from there, we're going to take a breath in as you breathe out, just lifting up, breathing in, coming back down. Good. Keeping that upper body nice and still. Good. And you should be feeling it in the outside of that hip. So 3 more. 2 and 1. Good, well done. A little rub of that hip, maybe lengthen out. Good. And then from there, we come back, stack those legs on top of one another with the shins in line with the front edge of the mat. Pelvis nice and neutral, core switched on, nice long spine, little gap in between your waist and the mat. And then from there, with the core switched on, I think I just said that, just in case you haven't got it, we're going to lift that top knee up, breath in as you breathe out, knee to knee, breathe in, foot to foot. Good. So we're working those rotation muscles in the hip. So you still probably feel it a little bit on the outside of the hip, but maybe slightly deeper as well as you really get those deep hip rotators working. Good. Keep breathing out, in. Good, core switched on. That hip will start getting tired. See if you can just push through a little bit more. Good, well done. So 3 more. 2 and 1. Good, well done. Okay, relax that down. Lengthen through that top leg. Lengthen through your top arm. Big, long stretch through. Good. Good. Okay, and then we're going to come on to all fours. So I'm going to turn onto the front, and from there we're going to come on to all fours. So making sure that your hands are underneath your shoulders, that your knees are underneath your hips, your feet are out in line with your knees. And just have a little arch and hollow through the spine, coming to that nice long neutral spine, and make your neck nice long extension of the spine. So when you're not looking at the video, then you're looking down on the floor, nice long neck. And from here, we're just going to come into swimming. So we're going to keep the pelvis nice and neutral. Breath in as you breathe out, engage through the core. So putting up through the pelvic floor, in through the belly button. So belly button up towards the spine. And then we're going to take a breath in, and as you breathe out, we're going to lengthen opposite arm and leg. So to point your toes down, turn your inner thigh up towards the ceiling slightly. So we're not lifting up through the pelvis, we're keeping that pelvis nice and still. And imagine you're pushing that foot into the wall behind you. Breathing in as you come back down. Keep that nice long spine. Breathing out. Lengthen through, toes down. Push with the heel. Turn your inner thigh up towards the ceiling. In as you come back. Breathing out. In as you come back. Good. Breathing out. And in as you come back. Good. Keep that spine nice and long. Keep that core muscle switched on. Alternating side to side. Breathing out, lengthen through. In, coming back. Good. Nice long spine. Pull that belly button and breastbone up towards the spine. The shoulders down away from your ears. Little toe pointing down towards the floor. Can we do one more on either side? Good, well done. Okay, and from there we're just going to curl chin to chest, lift up through the breastbone, lift up through the belly button. Imagine that tail tuck it between your legs, and then just sit back onto your heels. Keep the breastbone away from your thighs. And then from there, you're going to gently walk those fingertips away. Allow your forehead and breastbone to come down towards the mat. And just sink into that position. Keep breathing. Have a little bit of a stretch through. Good, well done. And then gently walk your hands back up towards you. So we're going to come into our planks. Hooray! And we'll try and do 3 today, but I just really want you to make sure that when you're doing your planks, that your position is really good. So really think about that lengthening down through the tailbone, pulling up through the front. Keep the shoulders down away from your ears and really engage through the core muscles and the bottom muscles. If you're feeling it through your lower back, stop, have a break. See if you can come back into a nice position where you're not feeling it in your back, or if you want to have a stretch or do an alternative, then you can do. So you can either, as alternatives, come into your a little lift in all fours, so your knees are just hovering off the mat, or you can come back into our swimming. Okay, so let's come down into our first plank position. So I'm going to come into a side plank position. So whichever position you're in, make sure that your shoulders are directly above your elbow and your shoulders are down away from your ears. So nice long neck. I'm going to make sure that pelvis is nice and neutral. We're going to engage through those core muscles. So breath in as you breathe out, engage through the core muscles. We're going to take a breath in. I'm going to time it. We're going to take a, and as you breathe out, we're going to lift up, keeping that nice long spine. So really think about lengthening down through the back, pulling in through the front and up through the front. Good. Well done. We're going to hold that position. Keep breathing. And I could talk to you about lots of things. I feel a bit stupid just talking to a picture of myself on a camera, but maybe we can distract you a little bit while you're planking. And it's just to let you know that while I'm here doing my Pilates video in my little treatment room in my garage conversion, Toby sat at the desk, the dining room table. We've got a little workstation set up with a desk area for all of us. So Toby's doing his topic homework. Ben's doing pre-recording a radio show. So if you want to listen to some radio shows, then have a look at his website and relax off. And actually, if you want any music to do your Pilates to, on my website, I put a link to one of my Pilates mixes as well. So, and there's lots of blogs and things on my website as well, little information about what I'm doing and information about just Pilates and different things. Go and have a look if you've got some time and you want to have a little browse and a read. I've got a few blogs up there, so you can have a little look at those as well. Right, so we're going to come into our second plank. So make sure your shoulders above your elbow, your shoulders down away from your ears, a nice long neck. Pelvis nice and neutral. We're going to engage through those core muscles. So breath in as you breathe out. We're going to gently pull up through the pelvic floor. Breath in as we breathe out. We're going to lift up. Get it all done. So yeah, so we've got a little workstation going on. I feel like the least productive out of everyone because I would normally be seeing patients and there's only so much paperwork that I've got to do. So I'm trying not to sprint into cleaning the house very slowly. I need to be really bored to want to clean the house. I feel like Toby's got all of his schoolwork to do and Ben's got all of his radio shows to do, and I'm trying to keep people entertained by doing a bit of Pilates, and I am doing phone consultations, so giving people advice over the phone about injuries and niggles and giving them stretches and exercises to do. But I feel a bit useless in these kind of times. I don't really struggle with not seeing lots of people face to face every day. Okay, we've got 5 seconds and relax off. Get well done. Right, is anyone up for doing a third one with me? I hope you're not just all going to watch me do this third one. Got some takers. If you need to have a stretch out, you can have a stretch out first. So we're ready for that third one. So we're going to drop those shoulder blades down away from our ears, making sure your elbows are directly underneath the shoulders. We're going to think about that pelvis nice and neutral, so not arching through that lower back. Breath in as you breathe out, engage through the core muscles. Breath in, and as we breathe out, we're going to lift up. And just make sure that you're really tucking that tailbone down. So imagine you've got a towel, tuck it between your legs. Lift up through the belly button, up through the breastbone. Good, and holding that position. Make sure you're not feeling it through your lower back. I did manage to get out into the garden and plant some seeds yesterday. So, and then it froze last night, didn't it? No, not last night. You're doing this, you don't know when you're doing this, but for me, it froze last night. So, doing a little bit in the garden. Just a bit worried it's all going to get kicked with a football as soon as Toby's playing football outside. I feel like my garden's a bit of a lost cause. 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and relax off. Good work, well done. Let's have a nice big stretch out. So we're going to come back up onto all fours. Nice long spine. We're just going to come into our cat-cow. So from here, chin to chest, lifting up through the breastbone, up through the belly button. Tuck that tail down. Big stretch through the lower back and the shoulders. And then we're going to lift up the other way. And again, tucking down. Lifting back up through the other way. And again, chin to chest. And lifting up. Let's do one more. So we're just going to then stretch out through our glutes a bit. So there's a couple of ways of doing this. So if your hips are happy to, then you can cross your right leg in front of your left. Coming to extended pigeon pose. So lengthen that left leg back. And then coming into big stretch to the outside of the right hip. If this isn't available to you, and your hips, and you know your hips won't like it, then you can come onto your back. Cross your right leg over the left, Push that right hip out to the side. You should get a stretch to the right outside of the bottom cheek. Just feeling that stretch in that position there. So whichever feels most comfortable to you. We're just going to hold it there. So either in that extended pigeon pose, stretching out through the glutes where we've worked them lots today. Good. And try and make sure if you're in this pigeon stretch position that your hips are nice and level. So you're not sitting back onto that right bottom cheek, but you're bringing the pelvis nice and in line with the floor, nice and neutral. Good, all done. And then we'll gently come back up onto the knees. If you're on your back, then swap sides. So we're going to bring the left leg in front of the right knee. Slide that right knee back. And coming down into that pigeon pose there. So you're stretching through the left bottom cheek. Or if you're on your back, you're going to cross your left ankle over your right knee. Push that left knee away. You hug the right knee in towards you. You should get a stretch through the left bottom cheek in that position. Work with your breathing. So keep breathing. Keep your pelvis nice and neutral. Get all done. And then we gently come out of that position. And if you're happy onto all fours, what we're going to do in all fours is bring your left knee in front of your, so in between your hands, so you're coming into that kind of lunge position, or start like you're starting a running race. And then from there, we're just going to lengthen that front leg and take your chest towards your thigh. So you should feel a stretch to the back of the left thigh. If this isn't available to you, you can come into sitting and bring that left leg in front of you and reach forward down that leg. Just have a slightly soft knee. If you've got a slightly soft knee and you're reaching down, you can really feel it through the back of the thigh. If you've got a straight leg and you're reaching, you might feel it in the calf a bit more. So make sure you're feeling it through the back of the thigh. Good, keep breathing. Good. And then we're going to gently bring that left knee forward, and we're going to push the right hip towards the mat. So you're just going to open up through the front. And if you want to, you can come up onto leaning your hands onto your knee. Make sure you're not arching through that lower spine. Keep the pelvis nice and neutral. So you should feel it through the front of the hip on that kneeling leg. So nice and long. And again, so if this isn't available to you and you want to come into your mermaid sitting position, and bring your heel to your bottom and turn away from that side so you feel that stretch to the front of the thigh on that right leg. So either in that mermaid position with that big quads hip flexor stretch, or in that lunge position, pelvis neutral, pushing the hip forward and really feeling that through the front of the right hip. Good, keep breathing. And then gently relax off that stretch. We're going to bring the left knee down and bring the right foot in between the hands. Lengthen through the leg. Take your chest towards your thigh. Feel a stretch from the back of the right thigh. Good. And if you're in sitting, then bring that right leg out in front. Soft knee, reaching forward so that you're feeling the stretch to the back of the thigh in that sitting position. Good, well done. Just hold it for one more breath. And then we're going to take that knee forward over your foot. Open up through the left hip, tailbone down, hands onto knee if you're happy to. Just really open up through the front of that left thigh. And if you're in sitting, then you want to come into your mermaid sitting position. So you're bringing your left knee behind and the foot up towards your bottom and opening up through the front of that thigh. So whichever one works best for you. Either that mermaid sitting position or big opening stretch through the front of the left hip. Good. Just hold it for one more breath. And then gently relax off. And we're all going to come into a sitting position. And have your legs wherever you're most comfortable. We're going to come up nice and tall through the back of the spine. So really lengthen through the back of the spine, lengthen through the back of the neck. And from here, I'm just going to get you to bring your right hand to the mat, bring your left hand up towards the ceiling and over. You're really opening up through that left side. And in here, if you want to, if you feel a big stretch there, then that's fine. If you want to have a little play with positions, you can turn up towards the ceiling or down towards the mat. Just feel where you are most tight and work into that tension a little bit. Keep breathing. Hold it for one more breath. Gently come up and over. Left hand towards the mat. Right hand up towards the ceiling. And then reaching over, opening up through that right side. And again, you can just turn to the mat. Turn to look at the ceiling. Stretching and opening up through that right side. Keep breathing. Good. Just hold it for one more breath and gently come up and over. And then from there, coming up nice and tall, just going to pop your left hand onto your right knee and your right hand behind you. Sit up nice and tall through the spine. Lift that breastbone up, lengthen through the back of the neck. Just gently rotating around to the right side. Don't worry about the squeaking, it's not my back. It was the door being opened so that the video can be stopped in a minute. We're almost there. Good. Just take another breath there. And then we're gently going to come back through to the centre. We're going to cross your right hand onto your left knee, up nice and tall through the spine, through the back of the neck. Left hand behind you, and just opening up through the spine, just twisting through that position. Holding it just where you're feeling the stretch, but it's not too painful, and then just gently breathing into it. Hold it for one more breath, and gently coming back through to the centre. Welcome to that nice tall sitting position, shoulders down and back. So I'm going to take you 3 big, deep, nice breaths in. As you breathe in, think about lengthening through the spine. And as you breathe out, keep that length through the spine, but relax the shoulder blades down away from your ears. And again, big breath in. Breathe out, relax the shoulder blades, keep the length through the spine. One more time. Good, well done. Just relax your breathing, like that spine being nice and long, relax your arms. Good, well done everyone. Hope you enjoyed it. Take care. Remember, you can come back and revisit it at any point if you need to. There's a bit that you like, or you can go and find it again and redo that bit. If you want to do some more planks, then you're welcome to. And I shall see you all again next week. Okay, take care guys. Bye.